In any event, it is Monday, and it was a great weekend of NFL football. So let's get you started with a little something we like to call Monday morning headlines. Well, we know the kings of the AFC are, as the Baltimore Ravens put, I'm going to say it for you, Willie, a 56 burger. Yeah, on the Miami Dolphins, and if it wasn't enough when they had 49 on the board, they were throwing the ball. And they scored another touchdown, and they beat the Miami Dolphins in convincing fashion, 56-19. Look, someone here wants to gloat, so go ahead, Willie.
Ooh, look at me flexing on my exes, right? All the haters out there. By the way, I got to tell Dolphin fans, if you're going to tweet me or X me or whatever you do, don't run. Right? Don't run when you watch a shellacking happen, a bludgeoning happen. I told you, America, this was going to be a bloodbath.
Yes.
And it was.
It was
but you didn't want to believe it. You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I was watching this game in the first quarter, Tua comes out.
Close game in the first quarter.
Tua comes out, bing, and in my head, I'm like, I know Craig's like, ooh, I can't wait to tell Willie how much of an idiot he is. And then after that, Baltimore was like, let me adjust myself. And smack up on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, I'll say this. I did start texting you.
I know you. I know it. I felt you. I was in the chair and I was like, I know he's just drafts. I knew it. He's like, oh, Willie. And then I was like, wait for it. Nope.
Boing.
Done.
Just like that. Look, the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in all of football right now. San Francisco can't lay claim to because they beat them 2 weeks ago. And what they did in the last 2 weeks is the kind of stuff that Super Bowl champions do. Look, Lamar Jackson's the MVP. We can put that story to rest now.
Here we go.
Right now?
Tomorrow,
Are we doing right now?
Right now?
A week from tomorrow.
I mean, last week he had it, but right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Okay, right now.
And it's not good. It's going to be a long day. It's not going to change.
We peacocking today, man.
Yeah.
Woo! We peacocking.
Remember, you played for the Steelers. That being said, congratulations. The Baltimore Ravens are the best team in football and the number one seed overall. San Fran is now the number one seed overall in the NFC, so those two are locked in. So week 17 meaningless. They essentially get 2 weeks off before the playoff game. One team that had claims on being the number one seed but completely choked a home game. And I got to be honest, this is the greatest New Year's ever.
That's Michael Carter, by the way.
Like, I know you get Christmas gifts and Hanukkah gifts and Kwanzaa gifts. You don't really get gifts for New Year's.
You did.
This was a gift. This was the NFL God saying, Craigie, you had a great year. Not a good year. And I can go over why I had such a great year here on FS1. But that's a story for the executives off air.
Right.
That being said, Jeff Schwartz, Philadelphia absolutely choked at home, giving up 35 points to the Arizona Cardinals. And now here's the situation. Because they lost that game, they are now a Dallas Cowboy win away from being a wild card team and not playing another game in Philadelphia this year.
I couldn't believe the Eagles gave up 29 points in the second half to an offense that's ranked 26.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, we talked about having an identity, being the bullies on the block, yada, yada, yada. There's no way you can walk out of this game and say anything positive about the Philadelphia Eagles other than they're frauds.
How many times did we look at their schedule on this screen and say they've got the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Giants? And just,
I said they were scrappy good, and by the way, both of you idiots laughed at me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Don't be silly. Listen to Willie. Like, it's hashtag. Like, it's the bottom line.
This is like a catchphrase.
I keep saying positive things that are absolute, like, right on the head. Willie, what are you talking about?
Don't be silly. Listen to Willie.
Listen, the blind squirrel found a couple nuts this week.
He ain't just finding them. He's scooping them up.
The Arizona Cardinals do win on the road against Philadelphia. And because of that controversial Saturday night game between the Cowboys and Lions that the referees gifted to the Dallas Cowboys, it's set now, the table's set. If the Dallas Cowboys win this week coming up, they are the number one, they win the NFC East, and they get a home playoff game. And for a team that's won, 15 consecutive home games, that is a major, major upgrade for the Dallas Cowboys. And I told you 3 weeks ago, full panic had set in to Philadelphia, and now you're seeing how that manifested itself in an embarrassing loss at home to the Arizona Cardinals. All right, yet again, the Kansas City Chiefs, kind of like Groundhog's Day, find a way to win the AFC West. Wasn't pretty, though. wasn't the best performance. Settled for like 12 field goals in this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And you want to give the Bengals a little love, but I'm not going to because they're obnoxious fans. So screw you. You're out of the playoffs. Too bad. Suck it up again until next year. Although Jake Browning did the best he could to keep the Cincinnati Bengals alive. And now you've got the Chiefs. They get one home playoff game. In theory, they could get a second one. They just can't. They're not going to get the AFC Championship game at home, especially the way the Baltimore Ravens are playing. But do you believe in Kansas City now? I'll answer that question. No, I don't.
Huh?
Because I saw a lot of the same crap yesterday. And I'll tell you this: if it does match up that way, that would mean that the Bills get in, but they don't win the division. I don't think it matches up that way. But I think Kansas City is in trouble in the first round. Whether they play the Bills, whether they play the Miami Dolphins, whomever they play, the Kansas City Chiefs, although at home, are not a team right now that you can believe in doing anything.
When you say stuff like that, it makes me just like want to throw up on the day.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you guys
What
today?
is wrong with you?
Huh?
Like, do you not like football?
I love football.
Do you actually watch football?
I watch it every week.
The Chiefs proved they can win with their defense.
They beat a backup quarterback.
They sacked Jake Browning 6 times.
He's a backup
They
quarterback.
put the clamps of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They only had 60 yards receiving.
Yeah.
17 in the second half.
So, Will, if you watch that game, you
quarterback.
feel good about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the Chiefs are right.
It wasn't.
We talk about get good games, get right games. That was not a get right game.
Jacoby, it's not the same old headline. Well, they dropped passes and Patrick Mahomes is frustrated. The new headline is they won with their defense. This is where you want your defense to be. Getting after the quarterback, getting takeaways, and winning football games.
Again, I thought their defense played better, but they played against a backup quarterback.
You wasn't saying that when Jake Browning went.
I was saying
no,
that.
you weren't.
Willie, they won with their defense, but the thing is Jake Browning and the Bengals had the ball with a chance to win the game against the Chiefs. They shouldn't be in that position.
I get that,
the Bengals.
but to my dear friend Craig here,
Yeah.
I remember when old Browning went down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, scored 30 points.
Right, and you sitting up here like, Jake Browning, baby. And now he's like, oh, he's the backup.
He's a backup quarterback. He's not very good. By the way, MVS said another drop would have been a touchdown, which obviously drives people crazy. But, Travis Kelce yesterday was a no-show. Only got 1 target in the entire first half and 0 catches, obviously, 0 yards and all that stuff. So, look, they beat a team with a backup quarterback at home. They're division champions. They're going to be the 3 seed. They're going to play the first round of the playoffs at home. We'll find out next weekend who they're playing against. But if it's the Bills, you're going against what would be the hottest team in the AFC.
Yeah.
If it's potentially the Dolphins, you're talking about an offense that I know you played in Germany 2.5 months ago that can put 30 up against you. So I don't believe yet, and I've said this a million times on this show, I believe in Mahomes. I believe in Andy Reid. I don't believe in anybody else.
You got to believe in Pacheco because Pacheco gives him that balance.
coming back.
Yeah, he was huge for him because he gives him that, especially when you watch during that game. The longer he stayed in the game, the stronger they got. And that offensive line started to respond to him. And he's like that kind of old school Marion Barber downhill back. Like he's an angry runner.
Yeah.
And so when you need an angry runner this time of year, because when it gets cold and nobody's moving as fast, it's hard to tackle a man who's pissed off with a football.
He kicks the ground. He doesn't run. Seems like he's kicking the ground.
Just beats the hell out of the ground as he's getting to the end.
Don't make me a bad guy. Like if you're telling me the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go as far as Isaiah Pacheco's going to take them, then they're not going anywhere.
For 3 weeks, it was only Mahomes, Kelce, and Pacheco. They had nobody else. Now, Rashee Rice, I got to give credit.
Yeah.
He's the new He's the new toy for Patrick Mahomes. They seem like they got a thing going right
I can tell you the Kansas City Chiefs are not winning the Super Bowl this year.
I agree.
They're not. I don't even think they get to the AFC Championship game. I can see them winning the first game. I'll give you that. And I think that's going to be a struggle for them. But I don't know that they've been wrong all year. It's just not clicking the way it has always clicked for them. So I give them credit. 8 straight AFC West titles, which is an embarrassment, frankly, to the Denver Broncos, to the Raiders, and to the Chargers. Could one of you franchises please have a good year
8 years?
once?
It was supposed to be Denver.
Right. It was supposed to be Denver. But you know about that dysfunctional mess there. Yeah. And then the Raiders teased you a little bit. And then the Chargers, of course, stink all year long and can't win close games. But please, the 3 of you, could one of you please step up just once in a decade and give this team a fight for its money?
If Belichick goes to the Chargers, you got Herbert. Hopefully he'll snap that defense into shape, and maybe we got a contender.
Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs were barely hanging on against Jake Browning and the Bengals. San Francisco took care of business against Washington earlier in the day. The machine was back. Brock Purdy, 22 of 28, couple tutties, and watch this play. plant the foot, bang, Yahtzee, touchdown. Only the machine can do that in the NFC.
Oh, do you want me to drool over a secondary that let Tyreek Hill get with like 300-yard receiving on him? This secondary
Look at this. Look at this.
Is that a game manager right there? Is that a system quarterback right there?
That's the exact opposite of a system quarterback.
Listen, I'm happy Brock has marbles, right? He responded after he got beat up in the alley by the Ravens. Overall, still watch the Commanders.
Kid came back from 4 interceptions to 2 touchdowns.
See, now,
no interceptions. The machine was back.
The machine is back.
By the way, that's a road win for San Francisco right there. How about that? Against a really good Machina.
They could have had Sam Darnold play that game, they still would have won. It didn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you this. San Francisco now has the #1 seed, and something happened yesterday, which is making NFL historians roll over in their graves. After yesterday's game, with still 1 game to play, and I'm glad he did it yesterday, because it's based on 16 games. You can't use the asterisk and say, well, it took him 17 to do it. Who is the all-time single-season record holder for touchdowns and yards in San Francisco history? It's not Joe Montana.
The machine.
It's not Alex Smith.
Not Steve Young.
It's
Don't feed this.
The machine.
All right, now pay him
Purdy.
like one.
What's up, Brock Purdy?
4,280
yards.
Look at Jeff Garcia.
By the way, how is Jeff
Shout out
Garcia?
to Debo, Brendan Ayuk, and Christian McCaffrey, by the way. Shout out to that 3-headed dog he has to throw the ball.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that Joe Montana didn't have Lynn Swan.
Joe Montana.
Obviously, Jerry Rice, right? John Taylor, Roger Craig, pretty good guys, right?
Okay, right.
Must have been a system quarterback. Anyhow, Brock Purdy, the machine, gets back in the win column. And now it's interesting because we thought there was the possibility that San Fran versus the LA Rams was going to have a lot of meaning in that game for either the #1 seed or for the Rams even trying to get in. And now it means nothing.
Because of the Eagles.
The Rams are locked into their wild card spot. San Francisco's locked into the 1 seed because the Eagles lost to Arizona. So this went from a game with significant meaning to both San Francisco and LA. And now it means Ugats. It doesn't mean nothing. No, I wouldn't even put it on TV.
I wouldn't either, but you got to credit San Francisco. And there's a lot to say about a team when you get embarrassed at home against the Ravens, right? The fact that they went on the road, traveled, beat up on listen, the Commanders aren't a good team, but they responded well, especially Brock Purdy in the first half. You got to feel good about that.
I can't get over the fact that the Cardinals beat the Eagles yesterday.
I can believe it.
Crazy.
They beat the Cowboys. They've been scrappy good. They beat the Steelers. Like they've come out with surprising wins. And once Kyler Murray's in the lineup, they're a different offense.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing going on. We'll get you later in the show between the Chicago Bears and the Arizona Cardinals. Just real quick, if I may. You know, they're both contemplating, do we have a franchise quarterback or not? I know we're paying Kyler Murray like he is, but obviously it's a big question mark. And they are both picking in the top 4 this year in a quarterback-heavy draft. So yesterday, Justin Field played his ass off. Chicago looked great. Kyler Murray's been great, frankly, since he came back from the torn ACL. And if those guys keep playing like that, albeit with 1 game left, those franchises have tough decisions to make when it comes to the draft and whether or not they trade their pick or if they use those picks on future franchise quarterbacks. So more on that a little bit later on. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.